today's video, I'm going to talk about a rather sensitive topic, and it's about politics and music. Now, here's my thoughts on that. We, as classical musicians, tend to focus on Western classical music. For example, you go to a classical music conservatory or a classical music school, and what do you learn? Mozart, Beethoven, Scriabin, Sibelius, all of these Western composers from the European area, maybe a little bit about American composers, but that's basically it, you know? You have Italy, you have Germany, you have Britain, you have maybe Piazzolla from Argentina. Is that where he's from? Yeah, I think he's from Argentina. But it's like we tend to focus on these small locations. We tend to focus on a tiny body of music that we sometimes neglect to showcase music from, let's say, Persia. I mean, there's music from Pakistan. Hey, there's music from Africa. Why don't we never study music from Africa? You know, it's crazy how we don't as classical musicians, we don't play all the classical music. We only play that 1% that we're taught in music school, and that's basically it. So the reason why I wrote this piece, which is called Tansive Kusi Chen, is because of my lack of satisfaction of what I was learning in music school. I mean, hey, Curtis was a great school. It's a highly competitive school, but we're all learning the same kind of music, the same classical stuff, and the same excerpts, and everybody's doing the same thing, same competition, and we tend to neglect all that other good stuff out there. You know, for example, one of my two favorite pieces is the one I just played for you. That's Persian music, and if you play it right, it'll sound beautiful. I mean, isn't that the whole point of musicians playing music, which is to play stuff that sounds beautiful? I mean, here's another one. Here's the Irish fantasy. I mean, we don't really play Irish music other than that one song. It's a violin concerto called Scottish Fantasy. But my piece goes like this. That's something you won't find in classical music school, because we only focus on the same stuff. So what did I do? I wrote it. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, that music is just not out there. I mean, wow. So about the politics thing, I know that the news says a lot of bad things about certain countries, especially the relationship between the United States and Iran. Perhaps that's why no one really speaks about Persian Iranian music. Perhaps that's why we never study it in school. Perhaps that's why we totally ignore that kind of stuff. And perhaps that's why the curriculum only focuses on the classical music that we should be performing rather than the other classical music from these other countries that maybe is unacceptable for certain schools. So there's really some. A lot of people don't talk about this and don't realize it, but there's a lot of different kinds of classical music out there, right? There's so many cultures out there that have their own versions of classical music that we don't really talk about it, and nobody really knows how to play it. So we just focus on this one piece of European, and I just want you guys to think about this for a second. Just think long and hard, sleep on it. That's really all I have to say. I guess I'll give you some tips on how to play some of this Persian music. So I've learned so far that one of the cool things about Persian music is how they end phrases. So I'm just going to improv and end the phrase how they usually do it. So you hear that last part which goes. So you hear that? That's a very popular way that Persian music ends their small phrases. So if you're ever improving or writing music that's influenced by Persian music, you might want to look at something like that. They love to do that. I noticed in the music, and that's something that's in my piece, which is called Tances Kuzi Chen. I'll put a link in the video description of that piece. You can try it out yourself. But this is an excerpt from that piece I wrote. It's pretty neat how they do that kind of stuff, and obviously I don't know much about this kind of music because I wasn't taught it, unfortunately. But I'm always looking to learn, and that's kind of one of the things that I focus on as being a bassist. I'm not really interested, honestly, in just transcribing violin music all my life, and that's what just soloists typically do. That's not something I'm really interested in. What I'm really interested in is exploring and trying new things and learning new things. And the end goal really is to bring all of these cultures together. And my dream is, one of the dreams is maybe to create a classical institution that's not biased and doesn't focus on one type of genre of classical, but to unify all the different kinds of classical music around the world. I don't want to focus on the European, the Western music. I want to, teach the next generation of musicians all kinds of music. So I don't know. We'll see about that, but I think I'll end this video here. And this was probably one of my longest ones. I'm sorry about that, but if you liked it, cool. All right. Oh yeah. By the way, here's my carbon fiber bow. I can't forget. I have to show this every time because I'm trying to sell them, and they're great because they last forever and they're really hard to break. So check that. I'll link this bow in the video description. You can check it out on my online store, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and happy practicing.